And this is Brookie, and this is my first time doing the vlog, asking questions, so
should be exciting.
Fun. Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, Brookie.
Yes.
Where are you from?
First off, I'm Brookie. I'm an addict. I'm from a little town called Whiteville, North Carolina.
Okay. So how did you hear about McShin, and what brought you here?
What brought me to McShin, really, it's kind of a crazy story. I was, doing my thing, getting high, whatever. I had an OD happen, and I was brought to the hospital, and I don't know, I came to, something about Virginia just kind of like works for me, because I came here last year, not to McShin, but to Virginia, and it was an awesome place, and it worked for me. I just didn't work it. And what happened was, I had warrants out for my arrest, and I decided to turn myself in. My judge agreed to let me go out of state to, do my recovery, and so I decided to come back to Virginia. And I found McShin I was online, and I knew if I personally went to an Oxford house that, it just wasn't going to work for me, because I'm a really intense kind of person. Not just a drug user, but I'm just a really intense person. And McShin seemed really structured enough for me to get clean and stay clean. I'm 4 months. Yay. Thank you. So it's awesome. So, yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so, how has McShin helped you since you've been here?
Wow. I've become an honest person, which is absolutely insane, because if you can ask anybody, honesty was probably the last thing I did. No one trusted me. I didn't trust myself. But today I find it, not worth lying about anything, really. It helps me to be a better person. McShin has taught me how to love and appreciate people. It's taught me how to love and appreciate myself. Whoops, hi.
Sorry.
And it's taught me to, be able to do things for other people and not expect anything but maybe a smile or something, because it always makes me feel better. But just to know that I help people, and to know that I have the desire to stay clean today, which is incredible. It's insane.
All right. So what is your hope for the future?
My hope for the future, that's a long ways away. Well, tomorrow, I guess, is my future too, but I don't know. I think I want to stay clean, obviously. That's the first thing I really, really want to do. Without McShin, I don't really think that's possible, but I want to in the future be able to have my own dance studio and do what God's given me to do, is to help people, and I don't know, just love people and love myself, and just kind of continue on a good path of recovery.
All right. So here's the part where you get to kind of tell your story. What was your life like before McShin?
Oh, wow. Well, I started drinking at age 11. It's pretty intense. At 15, well, let me start back when I was younger. I dealt with a lot of rapes from men I didn't know. I don't know, my life was pretty hard, really, to be honest with you. I think I was age 15, I found crystal meth. And when I got pregnant with my mom's boyfriend's kid, and I don't know, I told my mom about it, really, and she kind of went crazy on me, and it was her and her best friend, and they kind of physically fought me, took me to an abortion clinic, and that was probably one of the most traumatic things in my life. It's probably what triggered a lot of my drug use. I can't really deal with a lot of my emotions, especially with that, because to this day, it still scarred me heavily. But after that, I I had a boyfriend. We were both drug users, and he was a drug dealer and all this craziness. He was going out of town one weekend, and he gave me kind of the drugs to sell to our, regular people that came to get him. And one of our clients was a heroin addict. And at the time, I didn't know anything about heroin. I was just a crystal meth user. So I didn't know what it looked like, what it did to people, that it could be fake and hurt somebody. But, he gave it to me. And when the guy came to get it, it was fake. And what this guy did to me was probably one of the most traumatic things of my life as well. And I still really haven't dealt with that to this day. I got pregnant whenever I was 19. This is really traumatic for me. I had a daughter, her name was Chloe. She was 9 days and she passed to SIDS. I haven't really dealt with that either. I haven't dealt with a lot of things, but I don't know. I kind of focus on like the positive side of things, like the time I did spend with her. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful baby. But when I got the news, I didn't want to go to the hospital. She was in my house. I had my grandma, take her to the hospital, and because I knew what the doctors were going to say to me, and I didn't want to deal with it really. And after we had her burial is when I decided to teach myself how to shoot dope, which is crazy. But I started shooting heroin at age 19, every day, all day. I lost my house, was living homeless, was living in my storage unit, living in and out of hotels when I could afford it. Started prostituting to get money, to have dope, to have a place to live, But I got comfortable in my bottoms, which is, I think a lot of people do that, but me personally, I got really comfortable in every bottom that I hit, after losing my house. I got comfortable in living in hotels after, burning all my bridges with hotels because they didn't really like me too much. I was like psycho. I used drugs in their hotels all the time. I'd paint on their walls and put holes in their walls. I was just crazy. So most of the hotels around where I lived did not like me. So that got, wiped out, and then I decided to go live in my storage unit. And whoever gets comfortable living in a storage unit, I think, is insane. But I did for a while until I got in trouble for doing that because, I was there after hours. Almost got arrested for that. But then I started living in my ex-boyfriend's car with him. It's pretty wild. I went to jail a couple times. Got out at a bond, and that's when it started my whole running from the law because I never showed up for court because I knew they were going to throw me in jail. I don't know, using dirty needles, using people, selling my body, which probably is, I think to me, affects me more than actually using the drug itself. Getting involved with, people in gangs, who would have thunk me, getting involved with those kind of people, that's crazy. It was pretty intense, some traumatic things happened where this one girl, we were friends or whatever, we used heavily crystal meth together, and I'd shoot dope behind her back because she thought that was crazy. It all is crazy, but to her it was just needles and everything else. But this kind of, I don't know, this experience kind of humbled me a little bit. It kind of made me realize, you know, material things or just material things in my life is way more important than, you know, using drugs and, you know, getting involved with that kind of lifestyle. Some things got misconstrued, and we were hotel hopping together, and, you know, all my shit was in her car. Excuse my language. All my shit was in her car. And she'd asked me a question, and most of you may know or may not know how, you know, those people work, but any small thing that they disagree with or that, I don't know, you do affects them negatively, like, your life is in jeopardy. Like, you will die, you will be brutally, like, beaten, like, just crazy shit happens whenever you're with those kind of people. She asked me a question and I answered it, and it wasn't really something she liked and wanted to hear from me. And she was friends with all these, like, gang members, and I mean, I knew these people, but when it comes to one of their own and it comes to drugs, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you're nothing to these people. And what happened was, you know, we were driving down the street, and I didn't even know she was mad at me for a minute. You know, I thought she was just mad at somebody else or something, and I asked her what was wrong with her, and she told me that, you know, if I tried to get out of her car, that she was going to drag me down the street by my hair in front of everybody. That scared me, because I've never really been in that kind of situation. Like, I've been on a one-on-one with, like, men, but never with people like that. And that's what drugs will do. But anyways, so what happened was, you know, I unlocked her car and I took my seatbelt off and I opened the door. We were going probably like 65 miles an hour down the street, like crazy. And I got away from her. You know, I obviously flew out of her car. Had this big bruise, like, well, it's not a bruise anymore, it's just a big scar on my side from when it happened. I got a concussion, and I came back too, like, running. Like, I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life. And I mean, I couldn't believe I was actually in that moment. And I was also 4 months pregnant and lost my kid or whatever. That today it's not really traumatic for me as much, because the lifestyle I was living anyway, I could have never brought up a kid. So I just kind of let it go to God, really. And, you know, I'm blessed that doesn't affect me today, as, you know, like it would have in the past. But anyway, so I ran in this man's house. I didn't even know who he was at all. I had blood all down my face. You know, I know I looked crazy. And, you know, I took this man by his shirt. I mean, this is something I would have never, ever done. Never thought I'd be in this position. But I took him by his shirt, and, you know, I'm like, these people are going to, like, kill me. Like, you have to let me, like, stay here. Just please, like, help me. And, you know, that man let me stay in his house, his garage all day. And at night, you know, he gave me some shoes. I lost my shoes running. Gave me some shoes and a jacket, and walked me down the street to this donut shop, and I called a cab, and, you know, I went to a hotel or whatever. But that was the most humbling experience, because, you know, everything I owned was gone. You know, pictures of my daughter, my clothes, like, just, you know, everything was gone. But I didn't care, because I made it out alive. There was no telling what the hell would have happened to me. I also went through this phase, which I think this kind of made me grow up a little bit, kind of see life for what it really is, instead of this fairy tale I paint in my head, what I think it should be. I had done some drugs, like done a lot of drugs. For some reason, this one day, I got so paranoid and so crazy. Like, it was the most insane thing. I lived in this paranoia for like 8 months, every day, all day. It was whack. It was just crazy. I thought my neighbors were spies. I thought my boyfriend was going to kill me. I thought he was going to have his ex-girlfriends come over here and kill me. You know, I wouldn't come out of my house. Excuse me, his house. Take that back. I wouldn't come out. I was scared to be alone because I thought I'd hear people that were never there. I'd see things that were not there. I mean, I was literally like going crazy. I went from like 165 pounds down to like 70. It was disgusting. I still had problems with my body because I was so little, and it was, I mean, you could see my collarbones, you could see everything, but there was nothing I could do about it because I'd still use drugs anyway. But the more I used drugs, the more paranoid I'd get. I mean, I was like a scared child, hiding in my, hiding in my room under clothes from cops that were never coming to my house. Like, it didn't make any sense what I was doing. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to talk to people. And when they'd come over, I would run and hide. Like, what the fuck, I stopped liking people. I stopped liking everything myself. I developed this MRSA in my knee from shooting, dope. And, like, I still didn't quit. And it's a pure miracle that I'm alive today. Because I was for sure that I was just going to lose my mind. And there at the end of my using, sleeping with men I didn't even know, men I would never even, remotely give the chance to at all, like putting prices on myself, which doesn't make any sense to me why I do that. But I did, and I don't know, I haven't really forgiven myself for that, really. It's kind of tough, because I still have those memories in my head. Those are not going to go away. Memories in my visuals suck for me. I hate to have them. I'd rather not, but I don't know. Then I came to Virginia, which was like my saving grace. I have my family back, which is remarkable. My grandma, which is not an addict or an alcoholic, she gets everything. She understands so much. It's insane. I can talk to her about everything. She's happy to see me. I have a nephew that I can be there for today. My mom's coming back into my picture, and that's pretty cool because my mom and me has had some pretty crazy past things happen where, you wouldn't even think we'd be happy with each other. She's awesome, though. I realize that, people have their own lives and their own things they've been through, and maybe they didn't get help for them. Maybe they don't know how to deal with certain things, and my mom's loved me the only way she knows how, and I've accepted that. Today I'm happy. I mean, I'm truly like happy I can wake up and I'm not dope sick. I'm not running from crazy people. I have friends today. I have people that care about me. People, look up to me today, which, wow, I would have never in a million years think that anyone would look up to me because I am crazy.
You're the house manager.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the assistant house manager of my house. Like, me? Wow, that's insane. I give advice to other drug addicts of how to stay clean and deal with things. Yeah, I would have never in a million years think that I would be helping out other drug addicts on how to stay clean and happy, and deal with things in a rational way and not, go at people and, be mean to them or just, hurt people's feelings. Just kind of understand other people are where they are, but you're right where you need to be, and I'm right where I need to be. McShin, I do not plan on leaving here anytime soon. I don't want to put a time frame on it because that's crazy. But I love everybody in McShin. I love what people in McShin do for other people and what they've done for me, and that they give, me and other people the chance to, give back to them, because, we can always learn from the next person. And, I don't really have that much clean time. But, if people can look up to me, then I'm going to be there for them, and that means that my recovery comes first today, and staying clean comes first today, and everything else will fall right into place.